The Sea of Galilee glittered under afternoon sun, a sheet of silver rimmed with green hills. Jesus had wanted a moment of quiet time for his disciples to rest after days of healing and teaching, but word spread faster than the wind. By the time the boat touched shore, thousands had gathered. Fishermen dropped nets to join them. Mothers carried children. Old men leaned on staffs. They came not for spectacle, but hunger, physical, spiritual, both. Jesus saw them and had compassion. Though weary, he stepped ashore and began to teach, his voice carrying across the valley like sunlight over water. Hours passed morning into late afternoon and no one left. The people forgot time. Truth can do that, but the disciples noticed, their stomachs did too. They approached Jesus quietly. "Master," said Philip, "this is a remote place, and it's getting late. Send the people away, so they can buy food in the villages." Jesus looked up the slope, scanning faces. He said something that made their eyebrows rise. "You give them something to eat." Philip blinked. "Lord, it would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough. Bread for each one." Jesus smiled, the kind of smile that sees possibility where others see problem. "How many loaves do you have?" "Go and see." Andrew returned, half embarrassed, leading a young boy clutching a small woven basket. "There's a boy here," he said, "with 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. But what is that among so many?" Jesus gestured for the basket. He crouched to meet the boy's eyes. "Thank you," he said softly. "What you've given is enough." He turned to the disciples. "Have the people sit down in groups of 50. The hillside bloomed into order, circles of men, women, and children settling on the grass. The sun angled west. Shadows lengthened. The lake flashed with evening gold. Then Jesus took the loaves, looked up toward heaven, and gave thanks. He broke the bread and kept breaking it, piece after piece, handful after handful, until the crumb pile became a mountain. He handed it to his disciples to distribute. As they passed it out, the impossible happened quietly. The bread didn't run out. Each time a disciple reached back for more, Jesus placed another piece in his hands, steady, unhurried, infinite. The fish followed, silver flashes of provision, until laughter rippled across the hillside. Children giggled. Parents stared wide-eyed as baskets refilled faster than they emptied. The smell of baked barley and roasted fish mingled with salt air and joy. Hours later, the crowd leaned back full for the first time in days, every stomach satisfied. Every heart steadied by wonder. Jesus looked out and said, "Gather the pieces that are left. Let nothing be wasted." The disciples walked among the groups, collecting leftovers into baskets. When they returned, each one held a basket overflowing 12 baskets, more than they began with. The boy watched, eyes wide. His small lunch had become everyone's feast. And yet nothing had been lost, not even his contribution. That's how divine multiplication works. When surrendered, small becomes sacred. The people began to murmur stories of Moses and manna, ancient prophecies fulfilled before their eyes. They whispered, "Surely this is the prophet." But Jesus slipped away quietly into the hills as night fell. He came to feed, not to be crowned. Reflection. This miracle, the only one told in all 4 Gospels, is more than a story of bread. It's a map for faith. It begins with need, a vast, impossible problem. It continues with availability, a boy willing to offer something small. And it ends with abundance, God proving that scarcity is never final when gratitude starts first. The crowd's hunger mirrors ours, hungry for meaning, stability, peace. We chase satisfaction through work, recognition, control, yet still feel empty. But Jesus tells us what he told them: bring what you have. He doesn't ask for what we wish we had. He asks for the little we already do. The miracle lives in surrender, not supply. Think of the boy. He had no idea eternity would remember his basket. He just gave. Sometimes the smallest obedience opens the greatest overflow. Notice also how Jesus involved the disciples. He could have fed everyone directly, but he chose their hands. Every miracle multiplies in motion. As it's shared, faith that hoards dies. Faith that gives grows. And when the crowd finished, nothing was wasted. God's provision isn't reckless. It's perfect, enough for all, overflow for testimony. Closing minute devotional takeaway. The boy's 5 loaves still whisper. Little matters when it's placed in the right hands. Your talent, your time, your courage, they may feel small. But surrender transforms size. God never asked you to feed the 5,000. He asked you to bring your basket. He'll handle the multiplication. So today, if you feel like what you hold is insignificant, remember the hillside, the laughter, the 12 baskets left over. Offer it anyway. Because when heaven breaks bread with your willingness, even the smallest gift can feed a multitude.